Okay guys, let's have a look at page 17 now, question 11, part A. You're given that y is inversely proportional to x squared. Well, the only way to say that is that inversely proportional means it's equal to k over the x squared, yeah? Inverse means divide, so we write this, y equals inversely proportional to x squared. That's what it means. So I've just written down what that means. Okay, y equals k over x squared. K is some constant. The other thing we're told is that here y equals 100 and when x equals 2, agreed? So we can put these two values in and we should be able to work out that constant of proportionality, can't we? So y is 100, so underneath y equals k over x squared, agreed? And I'm going to put in 100 here. So I'm just going to overwrite it just to emphasize that that's what we're doing. Input in 100 there, and x is 2, so I'm going to write that over there. So now, I know you wouldn't do that in the exam, but it's just no problem for me. So that implies then that 100 equals k. 2 squared is 4. So now move the 4 from divide up to times to be with the 100. Read from right to left. K is there. 4 times 100 is 400. I run out of room, so I'll just write it like that. K is 400 then. So I'll just put it in here. So y equals then, let's just write down what we got. We got k, which is 400 over x squared. There we are. There's our formula that we can use for this table, presumably. So use the expression you found in 1, which is this thing here, to complete the following table. So we've got some gaps. So when x is 10, so if we input 10, y equals 400 over x squared, yeah? So we're going to input 10, so I'll get a thicker pen and I'll overwrite the input with 10. So we got y equals 400 over 10 squared, which is 400 over 100. Agreed? Which is 4. So when x is 10, y equals 4. So we can put that in there. Now the next thing we've got to do, so I'm going to write down my equation again because I'm going to put in a different value. 400 over x squared, agreed? That's what we got. That's what we're working with. And here, y is a quarter. So I'm going to overwrite a quarter here. So what I'm going to do, because fractions can be awkward to move around, are we okay if I write 0.25? So 0.25, because that's the decimal, and that will make our life a lot easier, I think, when we put it in here. So y value is 0.25. We want to find out what value this is, so let's do that. So I'm going to put 0.25 in here. Alright, there we are. I've overwritten it. Bit of a cheat, I know. So now we've got this equation. So let's move the x squared up. So it'll be 0.25. X squared moves from divide to times on the other side. Equals 400. So we can now put x squared equals 400 over the 0.25 can now be moved from times on one side to divide on the other. So 400 over 0.25. Let's type that in the calculator. 400 divided by 0.25 equals 1600. So there's, now I'm going to put that here. So x squared is 1600. So square root both sides. X equals square root of x squared is x. That's why we're doing square roots. And the square root of 1600. Let's type it in. Square root here, 1600. 40. Okay, so we can put 40 in there. And there's the table completed with 40. Okay then, that's part 2 done. And we've completed the table as we said. Great, sorry about the mess. And I know you'd be writing smaller with a pen, so you'd probably have a lot more room there to do that one. Next one then, part B. Use the quadratic formula to solve the equation. Now from the formula sheet in the inside cover, the quadratic equation is there. So I'm just going to see that, double check. Yeah, it is there. Quadratic formula. Okay, so it tells us that the answer in that case is equal to minus b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. The quadratic is here, it's all arranged in the right positions. It's 5 lots of x squareds plus 20 lots of x minus 4 equals 0. The best way to do this, to input these values, is the number of x squareds is the value a. The number of x's, see I've taken the sign with it, plus 20 is the value b. And see you would tag the sign of the number, of course, and that's the value c. So there's your inputs for a, b, and c in this solution. Okay, so I'm just going to overwrite it on this digital pen. So wherever I see an A, I put 5. So there's a 5 and a 5 here. So let me put that in. I'll overwrite that one. And a 5 goes in here, yeah, agreed. And whenever I see a B, I put 20. So a 20 goes in here, and a 20 goes in there. I'll put a little bracket because it's that number squared, isn't it? And then wherever I see a C, I put minus 4. So it's times by C, wasn't it? So that's a minus 4. Sorry about the mess, but I think that's visually the best way to demonstrate the solution. So what have we got? Let's tidy it up. Minus 20, plus or minus. So I'm just tidying it up now properly. 20 squared. So I'm going to type this stuff in here in the calculator. I've got a minus times a minus. So that will be a plus. 20 squared plus 4 times 5 times 4, yeah? Let's just put that in the calculator to get rid of that mess. 20 squared plus 4 times 5 times 4. Agreed? 4 times 5 times 4. Minus times minus is a plus, so I put a plus there. 20 squared. Let's get the equals. 480. So we can get rid of all that complicated mess by just putting 480. 2 5s are 10, so that goes underneath. So we'll have our two solutions then. X equals, so it'll be minus 20 plus the square root of 480 over 10. Or it will be minus 20 minus the square root of 480, because it's plus or minus, isn't it, over 10. So let's tap these in. So get our calculator back out. Minus 20 plus 480. So clear all this, I think. Now we've got a top number divided by a bottom number. So I'm going to put a bracket, because there's more than one term on top. I've got minus 20. And then it's plus square root 480. Move outside the square root. So I've done that there. Close the bracket, right? So that's that number there. And I want to divide by 10. And press equals. And let's get the decimal. 0.19. I think that's good enough to 2dp. So 0.19. Or it's equal to, so let's go back to our calculator, and you'll see here I've got minus 20 plus root 480, all that divided by 10. So I can just toggle back. Instead of plus 480, can you see everything's the same except for that's a minus. So let's put in a minus. Yeah, everything's the same. So press equals, get the decimal, minus 4.19 to 2dp, minus 4.19. Good. If we had time, we could tap that in the calculator. So I'm going to do that quickly just now, just to illustrate it. Let's try one of the roots, 0.19. So it's 5 times 0.19 squared plus 20 times 0.19, wasn't it? Yeah, minus 4. So that should be, bar a slight smidge of an error due to rounding, 0, which it is. So a small error, because we've rounded, haven't we? So we will have a small error, but it is 0. It's close to 0, so that looks like it's fine. So I think we've done a little check there, haven't we? We've done a little check there to see if that will be okay. Okay then, so that's page 17 done then. Good. So let's go on to the next page now. Great.